Welcome back to the Eversio Experience podcast. Today we have an incredible guest joining us, someone who embodies resilience, empowerment, and the transformative power of movement. Taylar Sherriff is the founder of Namaste Sweaty Club, an online fitness community that blends movement with mindfulness, helping women not only strengthen their bodies, but also cultivate discipline and self-love. Taylar's journey into wellness began over a decade ago, shaped by personal challenges and health struggles that ultimately became stepping stones for growth. She found health through fitness, first as a postpartum mom discovering the power of movement, and later as a yoga and fitness instructor dedicated to helping women redefine their relationship with exercise. Through Namaste Sweaty Club, Taylar offers more than just workouts. She weaves in intentional, almost somatic mindfulness practices that create a deeper connection between body and mind. She's also passionate about women's health, particularly in the prenatal and postpartum space, and has developed programs to support women through every stage of motherhood. When she's not leading workouts, you can find Taylar in the kitchen, baking for her 3 kids and husband, tending to her garden and backyard flock of chickens, or enjoying sauna and cold plunge sessions. Her holistic approach to wellness extends beyond fitness, embracing nutrition, hormone health, and the art of slowing down to truly savor life. We are so excited for this conversation with Taylar, where we will dive into her journey, her approach to fitness, and how movement can be a powerful tool for transformation. Taylar, welcome to the Eversio Experience podcast.
Thank you. What an intro. My goodness. Wow, I'm so grateful to be here.
We've been waiting for this conversation a long time because Taylar
Aw.
is, we can say a lot about Taylar, like Dr. Des. That was a beautiful intro, and it's because we know you and we love you. And I think to know you is to love you. And we have even had the honor of witnessing you in person with a small sample of your massive community at the Namaste Sweaty Club, at some of your retreats, and really such a beautiful thing because we just have had this opportunity to see you holding space for others who hold space for others. And it just
Mm.
made us feel like, I don't know, your clubbies are awesome. And we just love that you promote movement for health and healing and longevity with them versus weight loss. And I think that's
Yes.
almost what I was expecting the first time we came to see you. It's like these women are coming because they need to lose weight. No, it's so not it. And the way you talk about honoring your body, I have worked out with you. I got on that mat. And I think it's just a blend of consciousness and movement that I haven't seen before. And I'd really
Mm.
love to know how you got there. So I'd love for you to start at the beginning with us because we love a good
Yeah.
story. And I know your
Yeah.
journey started almost a decade ago now,
Yeah.
when you decided. So dive in with us and tell us about how this all started for you, the beginning of your journey into wellness and what was going on for you 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I made it through. Thank you. First of all, the feeling and the love is so incredibly mutual. It's so amazing to connect with um, a brand that honestly becomes family, and like that's what I feel when I think of both of you. But yeah, I was not a fitness person. Like I would have never identified myself as that through my 20s and getting pregnant with my first daughter who's almost 10, and going through that experience, watching your body change in like such a significant way, and then going through postpartum, which was particularly difficult for me. There was some depression. There was no movement during that pregnancy other than like walking. I remember just making this like conscious decision, around 4.5, 5.5 months postpartum, just being like, I have just watched my body shift and change in this significant way. I wonder what would happen if I like consciously and intentionally wanted to make some change.
Yeah.
And so I just decided to start, and I just felt like if I just never give up, change must be inevitable, right? And this is like prior to like me doing anything. And I mean, leading up to this, like I was sort of like the average woman. Like I would go to hot yoga every now and again. I would try to go to the gym, and like I had no real idea what I was doing, running on the treadmill, picking up a couple 2-pound weights. Like I did not really know what to do. I knew that I always wanted to make change because, as a woman and you're growing up, especially in my generation, it's like you always are told that you want to lose weight, even
Yeah.
though I was always a slender person. But I always had that belief system that wasn't even mine, I feel.
Yep.
Um, And so it definitely, my fitness journey started probably because I felt very empowered becoming a mom and that transformation. But I wasn't happy. I didn't feel confident in my body. I lacked strength. I felt like I lacked capability. Nobody likes to work out because it's hard. And that was me. I didn't like to go on hikes. It was hard. I
Yeah.
didn't want to do that for fun. Um, and so when I started working out, I just decided, okay, I'm going to do like a 3 month sort of program. And I did start my journey at home just because I was a new mom and had a little baby at home. And I started to fall in love with fitness. And I was like, oh my gosh, I started because I wanted to change my body. And what I found in those 3 months, in those 90 days, well, first of all, I was disappointed after the 90 days. I thought I was going to like completely different. But I didn't. But all of the other benefits that I experienced, I was like, this is too good to stop.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to do another 90 days. And breaking it up into like a manageable time frame for me at the beginning was really helpful because nobody wants to start a fitness journey and be like, hey, by the way, you got to do this forever.
Yeah. Which is the
Totally.
truth. It's
It
the
is the truth,
truth, but
though.
you're right. It's
Yeah. And it is the
overwhelming.
truth. And here I am almost 10 years later still doing it. But if you had told me that 9.5 years ago, I would have never believed you.
Yeah.
Like I would have never believed that that could be me, that I would have actually created fitness as a part of my lifestyle, which truly for our metabolic health, for our mental health, that's what needs to happen. And our belief system around what it needs to look like and what it actually can be is two different things as well. I think we often carry this belief system that we need to spend an hour in the gym 5 days a week, or we need to go to like killer hot yoga hit classes and like that's what it means and that's what it takes, but it doesn't. And I found true physical transformation, but more importantly, mental transformation at home with 30-minute workouts. And so that's where I started, and that's then subsequently what I created. And so it's been this really beautiful full circle thing for me because, and I know we'll get there, but yeah, that's basically how I started. Was I started working out from home, and after, like I said, that first 90 days, I was like, I couldn't believe that I found better sleep, better stress management. I felt happier, I felt more confident, and just the simple act of like doing and following through with what you said you were going to do
Yep.
is so powerful.
Especially for a new mom, because
Yes.
if you're in the audience out there listening and you're at home with kids feeling like fitness is not an option for you because you're in a place in your life where that feels like something extra on a plate that's
Mhm.
already so full. I love that you're listening to this podcast because I think Taylor's going to show you that it actually is going to make your plate lighter.
Yeah,
um,
it does. And I think we often believe that fitness is a burden or a chore. And as you start doing it and you actually do build it into a consistent part of your life, you realize that movement is actually a privilege and a gift
yeah.
to
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah.
And then if it's a gift to yourself, it's actually a gift to everyone else because it trickles down to all the people around you that we do have to show up and serve. Like we're showing up to be a mom whether we want to or not, but wouldn't you want rather do that from a place of fulfillment, a place of empowerment, a place of like you're able to give better because you're also being nourished? And so this was like a complete shift for me away from like the traditional thought process and methodology of women's fitness, away from restriction, deprivation, depletion, and more towards like nourished, fueled, and empowered.
I love that so much. That's the power of movement, right? It's incorporating all of those things. And the biggest thing that you said is getting to your mat every day, and your body craves it, your mind craves it, your soul craves it.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it all the time with your community when you're sharing on social media and all of the things. And we can see the power of connection and from having somebody living their truth and leading by example. And you're guiding this community to reach their own fitness goals. And it's, spilling over into many other areas in their life. And, the main thing for you is you love to sweat, you love to inspire, and it comes so naturally to you, and you can see it and you can feel that authenticity and that genuineness. And with the Namaste Sweaty Club, I think the mindset is different than traditional gym workouts. You know, there
Yeah.
are a ton of other programs out there, but for those
Yes.
who are listening and who are curious and who are connecting with you, can you share about the Namaste Sweaty Club mindset and what makes it different from these traditional gym workouts?
For sure. Yeah, the fitness space is so saturated. And I mean, you probably feel that too, like mushroom industry, like, you know what I mean? Like supplements, very saturated. And so it often can hold you back. But for me, stepping forward into, I watched how working out at home, 30-minute workouts, I watched how that transformed my entire life. Like it's not just, it didn't just transform my body, didn't just transform my mindset. It literally like seeped into every aspect of my life. I left a marriage that was no longer aligned. I stepped into really my dream life. And I attribute it to the consistency that I built there. But with the club and what that's, once the club was born and what that's really embodied is, I think the missing piece with a lot of fitness, particularly women's fitness, is it's not just movement from A to B. Like we're building a bicep, we do a curl, but what if you were building your body while you were building your mind and nourishing your soul? And
Love
so
that.
because I am a yoga teacher as well, there is an element of mindfulness that is woven into our fitness classes. So it is very much like a mindful fitness. It's not the traditional, very masculine push 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 type of fitness classes. It's actually more rooted in my feminine energy and knowing that to honor the body is coming from a completely different space than a no excuses mentality. I feel like the no excuses mentality is very much rooted in shame and should, whereas honoring your body is being like really honest about turning inwards and asking like, what is it that I actually need today?
Yeah.
Not what I want to do or what maybe my mind is like I'm battling with that. Like what is it I actually need? And cultivating this like self-honesty that is really crucial to not just ourselves, but then it's reflected in how we show up in every other relationship. So anyways, to answer the question, I think that that is really the key difference. Also, I will say the community is unexpectedly incredible. Like
Incredible. We've
I,
met them. They are a
yeah,
unique, I know you call them the clubbies, and
clubbing.
I was afraid to meet them. Like, is it a gang? They are, I mean, I hope some of you are listening out there and know that
Oh, I hope so too.
I think the energy that you share through that screen has seeped into them, and they have
Oh.
they are an empowered group of kick-ass women who came to play. And
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, it's wild. That I think, I mean, I could have never foresaw that, or intentionally even built that. Like it was just organic in its creation. And to witness, it's funny because it is an online fitness platform, and so you would think that there's like this separation, but oh my goodness, there is like so much connection within this club. And I mean, I have made connections with women that I think will be lifelong. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And having the opportunity to be a part of so many women's transformations and their own unique journey. And that's what I always say. Like I'm still on my journey. Everyone that interact with is on their own journey, but we all meet on the mat, and everyone is so there's no judgment, there's no comparison, everyone is like focused on them, and it's amazing. That piece, I get goosebumps, and it's constantly inspiring to me,
Yeah.
which is so cool. It's like this circular, it's just that's really so cool to
Yeah,
me.
I think of it like a flock of birds. Nobody's leading. You just all get in
Yeah.
the zone together, and then there's this common energy that pulls you all along through. Describe to us a little bit what that looks like. I know it's 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
long.
so
Yeah, tell us what it actually
no,
looks like.
so yeah, I mean that is really important. And I think what I will say too is, aside from our program, as being a woman and trying to create movement as part of your lifestyle, it's really important that you find ways to move that you love. And
Yes.
I think if I had been told that years ago when I first started, I would be like, well, I don't like to do it because it's hard. And so it's amazing though how quickly the body does adapt. And so our program isn't just like workout classes. It's actually designed very intentionally to be a weekly fitness program.
Hmm.
So there are 5 different class types that target, lower body, upper body. We have a cardio day. We have a compound movement day, which is a full body day. We also have a booty day because all my clubbies love booty day. Um, but it's designed and recommended to be followed in a very intentional way. And yeah, they're all from home, all with minimal equipment, and all 30 minutes. And the reason why I love 30 minutes, well, A, that's literally how I started my fitness journey and had the realization that, wow, 30 minutes can be efficient, it can be effective. I'm busy. I don't have time. Like, I don't have time
Yeah.
to get in my car, pack my gym bag, scroll in the parking lot,
Yeah. Find
get into the
childcare.
I don't have time. Yeah, childcare is a huge piece. But even like busy career, like prior to like I just there's no way. I just don't have the time. So doing it in a way where it's like you're getting it in, you're getting it done, and yeah, that's really the intention. It's meant to be convenient. It's meant to be effective, though. It's like you shouldn't be feeling like you need to work in those 30 minutes, and you're going to work in those 30 minutes, but then it's going to be done.
Yeah.
And I often say like 30 minutes, it's 2% of your day. And I remember early in my journey when I was building this consistency being like, oh, I really don't want to today. And there are still some days where I feel like
Of
that. That's part of
course.
it. That's part of the journey. And I share that because I'm a real human
Yeah.
and I'm doing the workouts with you. It's not like a pre-recorded full makeup situation. Like I am literally rolling out of bed and showing up to
Yeah.
do it with you. But it's 2% of your day. And it's like, even on my hardest days mentally, I'm like, okay, but it's only 30 minutes. It's only 30 minutes.
Only 30 minutes.
I
It's
can do it for 30
reconditioning
minutes.
yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so that mantra has gotten me through a lot of the mental hurdle days where I'm like,
Mm.
2%. I could get
yeah,
through this 2% and check it off. Oh my
yeah,
goodness, Taylor, when you said I'm not getting a full makeup, I had this flashback of what your children are experiencing right now, watching you get up and do this in your home. I'm remembering back in the 80s watching my mother get up and do the Jane Fonda workouts on a VHS tape. Those of you who are almost
yeah.
50 like me, in her purple leotard with her purple leg warmers and her matching headband. And honestly, I'm grateful for it. Like, as crazy as it was back then, and I'm sure Jane Fonda had the full face of makeup. That's how it was, and it was very produced. But I loved that my mom cared, that she
Yeah.
had kids at home, and she was doing, essentially, she had her own, but there wasn't no interaction at that time,
Yeah.
right? It was
Yeah.
press
No,
play.
that is what's so cool.
Yeah, Jane said the
Definitely.
same thing every day. I'm like, Jane's saying it again. And I know your kids will
Yeah,
get in there
no.
with you sometimes. And I think when we start, I mean, and I'd love to talk about the motherhood piece with you, because
Mhm.
it's part of what I love, is I know your kids are watching that. And I think so many moms out there want to be the role model. So, and I think the way we found you, we found you on Instagram. We didn't know you
Mhm.
lived close to us. We didn't know much about you. We just were drawn to it. And I think that's how your clubbies found you too. It's magnetic. Your energy is magnetic. You've drawn to you what you're putting out. And we're super fans of you on Instagram. But my favorite part is when I open up a feed from you, a reel, and it's, or a story, and it's you being completely honest about the reality of being a mother in today's
Yeah.
world. And I would love for you to tell us about staying fit while becoming a mother for the third time. You had a
Yeah.
baby. We call him the mushroom baby because
Yes. Our little
because
reishi
I know,
baby.
yeah, there were mushrooms in the building of that little beautiful
Oh,
boy.
yes.
But how you
And Lola too. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
So I would love for you to just tell our audience about how you see the role of motherhood itself fitting into a wellness journey, and why that's so important to you, and why you share so honestly the way that you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think showing up authentically. I mean, I have 3 kids, and I do live stream, so that is a really big difference as well. I know Des asked, like, what makes the Sweaty Club different? That's another piece, is that I actually am live streaming 5 days a week, so I'm showing up, and often my kids will run in and run out, and I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, like, and that's just kind of part of it. And I know that a lot of my members are moms, and I know a lot of them are working out in the living room with their kids around, and sometimes the workout's not perfect because you got to get a snack or help a child do something. And I get that, right? And I know it because I've lived it. And becoming a mom for the second and third time, I mean, I couldn't explain to you the difference, like the night and day difference, because in my first pregnancy, as I mentioned, like I hadn't begun my fitness journey yet. I did not work out or anything through my pregnancy other than walking.
Mm-hmm.
My second pregnancy, I worked out with the club till I was 37 weeks. My
Whoa.
third, for my third pregnancy, I did the same. And And I also because that's become obviously becoming a mom is like I love pregnancy, I love motherhood, and I love fitness. I do hold like a prenatal postpartum certification as well. And going through that, it is hard. Like fitness is hard for everybody. It is, even for myself. It's also hard when you're pregnant, but it's so worth it. And it pays dividends, like in trying to maintain a level of fitness, not only for the quality of the pregnancy and the experience of the pregnancy, but also the healing postpartum and the recovery. I'm like just living, having a non-active pregnancy to having an active pregnancy. It's like crazy the difference. Like yeah, that's why I obviously kept going in the third because it
Yeah.
was like, wow,
Yeah.
it made a huge
Yeah.
difference.
And if you're wondering what that looked like, audience, go on Taylor's Instagram account and look at her 2 weeks after having her third baby. And you will be like,
Yeah, that
there's
was,
no way that woman just had a child. But you can see, and
yeah,
delivered that child in her living room
yes,
on
the
her
last two
own,
of them.
like to
Yeah,
super rock
yeah,
star.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think that's the evidence that the fitness
Yeah.
is working.
And I'm not special or unique in that. It's just the consistency that was built, that had been built by releasing the belief that it needed to be crazy hardcore in the gym. Like it didn't. Your fitness journey doesn't need to look like that. You
Yeah,
can build strength, you can build muscle, you can build it into your routine. And if you want to make physical change, you can. But it's also not just that with us. It's like so many other things. But just getting back to your question about like being a mom and what that looks like, I mean, what I think is really cool is my kids, like movement in our household, exercise in our household is so normal for them.
yeah,
And the ripples that that creates for them, I can't wait to see what they do and how they incorporate movement into their life. You know, obviously my kids are active, they're in activities, and they love to move as most children do. But just being able to see movement being modeled in like such a healthy, grounded way, because I think for a lot of girls, you know, of my era and maybe of older eras, movement might not have come from a healthy place. And for me, we always talk about movement in our household as like it gives us energy, it makes us strong, it's play, like it's, you know what I mean? So we're not talking about movement as punishment. We're talking
absolutely.
about movement as celebration.
Yeah,
And I think I'm trying to really create this culture of women, our next generation, where they look forward to movement, that they understand that movement is a tool for them.
yeah. Yeah, and I love that you're also building the discipline muscle in front of a generation that needs to learn about discipline, like
Yeah, I
showing
just got
up.
goosebumps actually.
It's true because I think it's so easy for kids to want to give up these days
You know
when
what?
things get hard, and you're showing them. You just said it. Some days I don't want to get up and work out. Like there
Yeah.
are days that, I mean, we're women. We are on a hormonal cycle that lasts
Yep.
28 days, and every day of that 28-day, 30-day, whatever your cycle is, looks different. And there are some
Yes.
days you're like, I just can't today. And you give women permission to do that. But I think your
Absolutely.
kids are seeing you take very few of those, I just really can't. And other days I feel like I can't, but I do anyway. And
Yes.
our kids need to see that now more than ever because it's so easy to choose scrolling,
Oh,
screens, all of that.
we're literally hardwired to seek comfort. So for me, that's like one of the practices that's so underrated with fitness or showing up 5 days a week. It's like you're constantly intentionally choosing discomfort. And that is where you find growth, right? And
Yep.
for my kids, Summer's old enough. My oldest is old enough now that she is up in the mornings with me. She sees me do my morning routine. You know, I'm always like nourishing before, hydrating before I work out. She's seeing the process, and there are many mornings where she's like, "Are you okay, Mom? Or what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just tired." Like I have an 11-month-old. He's, you know, the sleep is still inconsistent.
Yeah.
I'm tired, and some days I say to her, like, "I just don't feel like working out. I don't want to go work out." And she has started to really be like, "Well, you cannot do it, or you can do it and get through it." And I'm just like, I'm
Oh,
witnessing this
yes.
like mirror effect, and I'm like, ah, yes, I feel like
Yes.
I'm doing something right.
Yes.
I love
And
that.
I watch so many of our members, you know, go from maiden to motherhood and keep their workout practice, and then also they don't even realize the incredible benefit that they're giving to their kids because they're working out at home and they're normalizing movement and they're modeling this healthy behavior that they hope to instill in their children without telling them to do it. They
Yes.
don't have to tell them.
No.
You're literally showing them.
Yep. They're watching.
Yeah.
They're watching.
So
Yeah. Leading by
it's pretty
example.
cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing too, right? Is I think a lot of people go into fitness and try and dabble in that mostly for physical aspects, like to
Yeah.
improve the physical side or their physique and their body. But really, that follows once you are doing the inner work, right? And that's what I
Mm,
love about your community and about your sweaty club is that
mm,
you are focusing on the inner work of how does
mhm,
it feel with your body. You get to do this. You are nourishing
mhm.
your body with movement, and when you feel whole and you're building that trust within yourself of like I can do hard things, I don't want to, but this workout is actually going to be better than the ones that when I do want to work out, right? It's that nourishment. And
Yes.
something that I love too about your social media and the way that you show up on social media is that it's so authentic. And
Mhm.
you are just, we're in your kitchen with you. You're making your smoothie for the
Yeah.
day with all your mushrooms and all the things, and you're
Yes.
baking and you're making
Have
dinner
to.
and your kids are there and, you're chopping away. That's my favorite. You're just like chopping the veggies and getting ready. And I love that it's just so authentic and it's real life. And we feel like we're there with you. And it's about nourishment. So, can
Yes.
you speak to nourishment for fitness? Like, how does
Oh,
food fit into the picture for you as you begin your busy days of being a mom, business owner, fitness instructor, all of the things?
yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I think what happens for a lot of women is they go, okay, I want to start working out. Great, you want to start working out. 99% of women that I work with are not eating enough. They're not sleeping enough. They're not hydrated enough. There's this epidemic of like chronic undereating. And yeah, so I think that again, what makes us different is that like our fitness comes from like a very fueled, nourished place. Um, and it's really important that we understand that women need fuel and nourishment. Not only do we need it, but we deserve it, and that's actually going to help foster us feeling our best and being our best up here and all that. And so that's obviously a huge part. And so when we choose whatever action it's going to be, like working out, at least what I found in my journey was it was the first domino of all the other things to support my overall health. Because okay, if I'm going to start working out, wow, I'm going to start sleeping better, and I'm actually going to be needing more sleep because we need sleep to recover, for our muscles to grow. Like rest is almost as important as the work, as they say. Recovery is really important. So okay, then I got to start getting to bed earlier. Okay, but then I need like I'm really hungry because I'm working hard, and so then I need to eat. Like, so it's like this domino of when you change one thing, it's not just one thing. You start to incorporate all these other habits that support the one thing. So how do I feel my best in my workouts? Okay, well, I need to be hydrated. The days I am not hydrated, I can feel it in my, I don't want to say performance, but I can feel it in my workout quality. Same thing when I'm undernourished, if I didn't eat enough the day before or whatever it may be. Same thing when I'm underslept, which obviously, being a mom of three, I normally really love sleep and I'm a really good sleeper. But when you have kids who are, still young, it's challenging. But I will say, the days that I'm extremely tired and I've been up a bunch of times with my kids, I get to the mat and I feel so much better. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dr. Rhonda Patrick, but
Love
she's an
her.
incredible doctor, female, and she talks a lot about the research and studies behind the fact of like having a vigorous workout can actually offset. I mean, I've known this through experience for years, but to have it as a clinical study and have
Yes.
research and data back it up is so amazing. But yeah, having a vigorous workout will actually offset all of the negative effects of sleep deprivation. I'm like, well, I could have told you that, but I didn't know it. I lived it. And any woman who's in my shoes will like, will tell you that that's a true thing. It takes energy, but even though, anyways, so yeah.
It seems
So
counterintuitive. I'm too tired. I
it
didn't
sure
sleep well.
does.
I don't have enough
Yeah.
energy. So I'm so
You
glad
got
you're
to make
saying
it
it and
though. You
just,
got to make the energy.
yes.
You have to make the energy. I agree. I don't have kids, but I am that person where if I don't sweat in the morning or move and, be active in the morning, I am so tired throughout the day. It doesn't
So
matter
much
how I
more
slept. If I
sluggish.
had a horrible sleep or I had the best sleep ever, I always feel so much better when I'm
Yes.
nourishing my body with movement. And I'm
Yes.
winning the day because you've already checked a hard thing off. So you're winning.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I mean, I've always worked out early, and the time I've worked out has shifted over the years and throughout my journey, because obviously our schedules change, our lifestyles change, depending on if you work in an office or if you have kids and they got to go to school or whatever, and it all shifts. We work out now at 7, which we have, like, this morning we had 27 people in our live class, and I know women who work out before me because that's just the season of life they're in right now for whatever reason, and then lots of women work out after. But I remember back when I was teaching in studio, I had Thursday nights. I used to teach 2 classes, and I remember thinking every day, like, I'd get up, I'd do my workout, and then I'd have my work day, and I'd always dread it.
Late
And maybe
night.
I'm alone in that, but I'm just like, I'm not a night workout person. Like
Unless it's
when you
yoga.
have your
I love my night yoga.
maybe if it's like a
Yeah.
gentle, yeah, a
Yeah.
gentle, like a yin to like kind of chill you out. But
Yeah.
if you're going into workout at like 6 or 7,
I'm
it's
the
like, oh my
same.
God, it's going to disrupt your sleep for one. But I personally am just like, if you want to spend your whole day leading up to that, for me, it's like, no, I want to get up, I want to eat, I want to do it, and I want it to be
Okay,
done
so do
today.
you eat before you work out then? That's a big
Oh my
question for
God,
our
yes.
audience. Okay.
I do. And I feel like this is like a really important thing, because I do feel like I share it a lot in social media, and with our club, about the importance of having fueled workouts, nourished workouts for women. And Des, I'm pretty sure, talks about this as well, is like the importance of women waking up and eating upon waking, or eating within the first 90 minutes of waking. But for me, yeah, my belief system is like a fasted workout, you will notice it in the quality of your workout. And if you're going to spend the time to dedicate to workout, you want to perform your best in each of those workouts, and you're not going to do it from a fasted place. Secondly, just from a blood sugar stability perspective, I'm like, oh my gosh, like from a hormonal balance, which affects metabolism and all of that, it's like so important to fuel your workouts. And I say this, I say it a lot. I feel like I repeat myself a lot, but there are still so many women who have and hold this belief that they should be fasting in the morning, that they should be doing fasted workouts. There's this belief that you'll burn more fat, but honestly,
Yes.
no.
But
Like, no.
that's my generation. And I can say I was that woman, and I learned from you, watching you rise early, have a morning routine that's before workout, because I'm, I hate to say morning person, night owl. I don't think you're exactly one or the other, but Des and I talk about this so often. She's more of a morning person and I'm more of a night owl, although I think we push each other to not be within that definition or to play that role. But I was, Desiree and I worked out together for quite some time in the morning, and I couldn't eat because I had grown up with that mindset, and my body was not conditioned to take on the food and then feel good in the workout. But listening to you say how important it was and watching you do it forced me to try. So I was not able to eat a full meal right away before, but knowing it was
No.
what was best for me, I now can get up. I make the smoothie. I get up and I do. That's the magic for me. Having the smoothie and getting the protein in there, and I that's what gets me out of bed. It's delicious and I love it, and I feel nourished. And
That's
then
good.
I can go. And for me now, sometimes all I can get in the morning is a walk, just because of schedules. But it definitely feels better to be nourished before. And I would never have believed that if you didn't say it over and over and over again. So say
You
it
are
again.
talking, yes, you are talking to someone who did fasted workouts for a very long time. And interestingly enough, coincidentally enough, it was also a time which I was suffering the biggest, worst hormonal
Yeah.
imbalances that I'd ever suffered. So I was always thinking, like, why? So much of our wellness, hormonal balance, etc., can be influenced by our lifestyle. And so many
Mm-hmm.
women don't even realize that they're the one in the way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I spent a lot of years doing fasted workouts, and just because I didn't think, I was like, I'm not hungry in the morning, and I hear that a lot. Like, I'm not hungry in the morning. The body is so
Something's wrong if
incredible.
you're not.
No, something is, yeah, no, what's wrong is that now you've like sort of stunted your metabolism, because the metabolism will adapt to protect you, to keep you functioning, so that you survive. So if you constantly are fasting, it's going to go, okay, yeah, I don't need to start working. But I often love the analogy that like metabolism is like a fire, it needs to be fed. And so a lot of women that I work with will be like, oh my God, I can't imagine eating breakfast before a workout, or I can't imagine eating breakfast, period. And then they try, and I always encourage them to start small. Like, you don't need to like completely shift your entire morning and make a 6 course breakfast. You don't. I still don't love breakfast, but I do it because I know it is like best for me overall. Um, and you can start small. start small with like a piece of fruit and like a hard boiled egg, or you're starting small and you're building. And I personally like to front load the day with protein, like you're getting the majority of your protein in like the first half of the day, to support blood sugar stability, to support your energy levels. And then you can build that breakfast as you, because then what happens is like you'll start waking up with hunger and you'll be like, oh my God,
I better get up.
there it is. There it is. And that is a pretty incredible shift. And when that starts, you're like, oh, wow. So the body can adapt one way, but it also can adapt back to like a good, balanced, healed place.
Yeah, this is going to be life-changing for those of you out there listening and thinking, what? Everyone's talking about intermittent fasting, and if I can make it this simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably men
Yeah.
or they're women who have been conditioned and don't even realize how good it can feel on the other side. So thank you so much for sharing that and for showing it, because look at you. There's no denying.
Thank you. But that's actually what I wanted to say as well, is I think the biggest difference and the biggest mindset shift around that is like, if you want to make physical change in the body, that's okay. But you also should know there's lots of different routes to get to the top of a mountain. You can do it from a calorie counting, deprived, depleted, deprived, restricted place. You can do it that way. It's not really that sustainable. There's not a lot of pleasure in that way of living. But you can also do it from a nourished place, from a well place, from a healthy root. Like you can do it that way. So you don't have to pick it. Like you can have your optimal body composition and you can do it eating 3 meals a day plus snacks. Like you can do it from a full plate. And that I think is really important, because we often look at, social media and all these fitness people and women of different ages and different seasons of life is really important to keep in mind too. And you don't know. And unfortunately, there's a lot of like eating like issues in the fitness
Lots.
space.
Yeah.
Like often covered by, well, I'm fit, but like, are you well?
Yes.
Are
And
you
then
healthy?
we
Are
see
you
it.
balanced?
It's showing up younger and younger, right? I have a
As it
teenage
is.
daughter, and I think in that age group, we are seeing more eating issues show up because they're watching social media and they're seeing this older. So, on that note, I would love for you to tell us about just that. We see so many women struggling to meet the demands of this high-speed world because it's
Yeah.
such a digital space. And what patterns are you seeing within your community when they first come to you right now as these greatest needs? What's the greatest need you see out there? And then can you follow it with, where do you think we're going? What do you think the future will be, given where we're at right now and how people are arriving to you and what you're meeting them with?
I think the greatest need is truly for women to just have the understanding and the education and the knowledge of how to properly nourish themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think we're taught that. I don't think we're taught about blood sugar stability. I don't think we're taught about eating to support our energy or eating to fuel our bodies. Like, I don't think we're taught that. Because it's not just about what you eat, it is also about how you eat. The slowing down, the chewing, the non-distracted eating, like all of these things play a part to it. And making sure you're eating a balanced plate. Like protein is like super hot right now, and it is important, but it's also important to include carbs and fats. And learning how to build a plate that is balanced, still serving your goals, but you're getting a little bit of everything. Whole food nourishment, I think, is really.
Yes. And it tastes good. And that's another thing that's
Yeah,
great about your account is it's beautiful and it looks delicious. Like
it's easy.
nothing's processed. Nothing
No,
is bright blue.
no.
um, some of it you're growing yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I got to actually get into my garden because it's time. It's time already, to start planting some stuff. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have a couple garden boxes and we can plant some stuff. But
And your chickens.
I think, yeah, and chickens too.
That's my
My
favorite
allergic
part.
chickens. What's
That's my
that?
favorite part. I'm like, put the chickens on Instagram. I want to
I
see
know.
them.
We just got 4 new hens and they're still young. They're not chicks, but they're not quite laying yet. So we'll see how they do. But we're ready. We need some more eggs. Our original girls are getting a little old, and they lay a couple times a week. And I don't have the heart like to do anything about it yet. So I'm like, we'll just get a few more, and hopefully they'll start laying and
Yeah.
boost the production
Yeah.
here.
Mama needs breakfast. Let's go.
Yeah, literally. And I think that's where we're going. Like, I think, we talk a lot about AI and the digital age and all of this, but actually, where I think we're going is back to our roots. I think and I hope that we're going back to a more holistic, real food, simple lifestyle, because that I see, like, I have a red light, I have a sauna cold plunge. Those are all great practices, but we need to be majoring, like, we need to be focusing on the big foundational things first, which is, how is your sleep? Are you getting good quality sleep? Are you sleeping 7, 8, 9 hours? How much hydration are you getting? Are you hydrating? Are you actually flushing your body and supporting that? Are you eating real food, whole foods, buy shop produce, shop meat, like, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, depending on what kind of nutrition you subscribe to. But I hope and I think that that's where we're going back to, is we're going back to like real grassroots, simple way of living,
Yeah.
and realizing we don't need a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you're preaching to the choir, sister, because mushrooms have been around for so long, and we're just living this, like, when did people stop eating them? Because yes, we are known as a supplement company, and we're offering that as a convenience because so many people don't include mushrooms as part of what you're talking about. No one wants to eat them for breakfast except for me. They're in my air fryer all the time. They're in everything because we
Yeah.
read the research and we know you can't not. You
Well,
can't
that's, I
not
think,
include
also
them when
such
you
a
know.
good point, is that we live in this space right now where and I know Des probably feels the same, is like, we live in this, or sees it at least, is the way I see it. Like, we live in this space where, like, the wellness space has almost become like Western medicine. There's a pill for every ill, and there's a supplement for every, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And the truth of the matter is, if you want to change your life, it's going to be found in your daily habits. It's not going to be found in a greens powder.
Amen.
That's the truth. But I will say, obviously, I do take a lot of supplements. I take them very strategically, very mindfully, and, like, not everyone needs every supplement. But but mushrooms, I feel, are like a different level of supplement. Like, you just can't deny the data and research behind them. It's so incredible. And of all the supplements I take, because I do take a handful every day, my mushrooms, like, I feel always have made the most impact in my life and in my daily, like, feeling. And yeah, I took them through my pregnancy, took them through my postpartums. They've been so supportive to my wellness journey. And so, I mean, it helped me get off pre-workout. Like, that's pretty wild. I was on like a caffeine, like, jolt stimulant pre-workout for a really long time. Like,
You
literally,
and
like, probably 4 or
you
5
and
years of
so
my
many
fitness journey.
others.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and being able to get off that and not use that, it's been incredible. And so it's like one of those things where I tried one and then I was like, okay, let's try another. And now I'm obsessed. And that's what
It
it's, and
happens.
like, it's true. It's the truth. Like, and now I'm like obsessed. So I often get DMs of like, which one should I start with? I'm like, just take the quiz, but don't ask me, because I'll literally tell you, I take all of them. So
Okay, but your first love was cordyceps because of
cordyceps.
the pre-workout. So you found
Yeah,
that
and I
was
think it's like not the same as pre-workout, but it helps with, like, endurance. It helps support exercise, like your exercise and your exercise quality and performance. So I love that. I also love just the statistics on it for, like, fertility, egg
yes.
quality. Like, after Andrew and I had our loss, him and I both daily 2 caps every day until I got pregnant with Ace. And just the support, like, I think that's really undervalued information that should be spoken about more, just about how, especially in this day and age where fertility is so low, that was really supportive. And yeah, there's so much evidence to suggest that they're like, and just from all of it, hormonal balance, pain and inflammation. I'm like, everybody needs to be taking this. So that's why, because I, like, take them all myself, right? And so I tell everybody, I'm like, okay, anybody who will listen, I'm like, oh, but because I'm like, I don't want to recommend supplements to anybody because I don't know you, and I'm not, like, that's not my job. But have you tried mushrooms yet?
Well, and that's the thing too, is like you said, it's how it makes you feel, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why all three of us take a lot of functional mushrooms, is because, I mean, we obviously are nerds and love the science behind it, but when you actually experience the difference
Yes.
in how you feel, and it brings you back to yourself, and you feel like, you're reaching your potential and showing up as your best you in the day, and
Yeah.
you're not supplementing your way out of a, poor lifestyle. You're
No.
using it in conjunction with the foundations. I think they're
Yes.
married together functional mushrooms with all of the things, and it's bringing you back to yourself as opposed to other things that are taking you away from yourself. That's what I love about functional mushrooms. They're just, they're very complementary in that sense. And a lot of people view them as food too. Some don't view them as supplements. And we've talked about this before too.
Yeah, my ND, 'cause that's why when I was asking, like, should I be taking these in my pregnancy? Like, is it fine? I felt like it was fine, which I think is also a really, staying connected to that intuition and like feeling that nudge. I was like, I feel like these are fine. But she said the same thing. She's like, these are considered food grade, so there's not a lot of studies on it.
No, not a lot of
But
pregnant
well, I can
women.
do the study.
Yeah, you are the study, because no
Yeah,
pregnant women are lining up to be in a clinical trial on whether or not mushrooms will affect their growing baby.
I would have been happy
But
to be
you're
that
in.
because like I'm like, here's my perfectly healthy 9-pound baby.
Yes. um, yeah, and we love that you were very open sharing that. If you were doing
Yeah,
this before you got pregnant and you feel like
yeah,
it might have contributed to helping you have this healthy pregnancy,
yeah.
why would you stop unless there was research showing adverse effects, which there isn't. There's not research for or against. You have to at
Exactly.
some point trust yourself, go with your intuition, and listen to your body, which will scream at you. We can all
Yes.
attest that your body will scream at you if something's not right. And are you listening to that?
Yes. And it's like really incredible because there's actually been two members of my community just from me sharing about like obviously post our loss, and what I was doing to like really support my body in the quest to we would be subsequently trying to get pregnant again, was the cordyceps and this research that on like sperm quality,
Mm-hmm.
motility, and egg quality. And I had shared that, obviously because it was a part of my journey. And actually, two members of my community who had been struggling to get pregnant started taking cordyceps, and boom,
Yeah.
they got pregnant.
Yeah. And it's
Wow.
happening. It's not just, I think we had 4 people at the same time as you in a very similar situation, all boom, 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 get pregnant. And I'm
Which is
like,
incredible.
oh, the universe is listening.
Pay
And
yourself the IVF charges and the
this is
artificial
it.
hormone.
And there was it was at a time where in the news, there was the spermageddon was going on talking about, right? And that like by
Mm.
some crazy, I think it was by 2050, nobody's going to be able to get pregnant anymore. Like, okay, the world needs an influx of cordyceps right now. So thank
Literally
you.
inject the world.
Yeah. So thank you for like shouting it from the mountaintops that,
That's just incredible. That's like incredible. Like that should be like I'm like, why is this not like in doctor's offices? Like this is incredible
yeah, preach,
information,
sister.
right?
I love it. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we have to ask you this question. What does a mushroom for every moment mean to you?
Our tagline. Our
I love
tagline
it
that's
so
on
much.
everything. What does it mean to
I
you?
love it. Well, I mean, I feel like from my experience with mushrooms, they've just been so supportive at different seasons of my life and in different points in my day. So for me, um, incorporating mushrooms, like I take mushrooms in the morning, I take them in the afternoon sometimes, or I dose my kids with like 4 mushroom blend, and then I take them at night too. And so I just feel like there's a mushroom to support sort of not just every season of life, but every like point of day in your routine. And yeah, they've just really supported the quality of all of my moments, really.
I love that. I love
I
that,
love
Tay.
that.
Okay, we have to let you go because I know you have 3 kids there waiting for your time.
Yeah.
Audience, we are recording this on the day after the first day of spring, which means children are on spring break here in our community. So, Taylar, you've given us so much of your time and shared so much wisdom, and I know you have inspired women, and they're going to want to get up tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and
I hope
come
so.
onto their mat. So tell us
Come work
how,
out.
yeah, how can people find you? Tell
Oh
us,
yeah.
yeah, tell us all about where they can connect with you, where they can come and learn more about what's going on in your incredible world over there.
Yeah. Well, we can connect on Instagram at Namaste with Tay. You can find me on our website, namastewithtay.com. And you can come join our Namaste Sweaty Club. I do have a private community on Instagram as well, that I just monitor like who comes in and out kind of thing. But it's mostly women, and I try not to let anybody in that I don't know. But yeah, you're welcome to come and join us for a free 7-day trial and check it out and see if our workout program like aligns with you. I love that people can come in and try a full week of the program and like really see if they can fit that into their lifestyle, because that's truly, what it is. It's helping women fall in love with fitness and really create movement as a part of their lifestyle, which is really what it needs to be for our metabolic health, for our mental health. It needs to be something that is consistent and sustainable in your life and realistic. And And
Yeah.
also a little bit of
Yeah. Build that discipline muscle, hang out with
yes.
Tay, get the
Yeah.
mindfulness hit that everybody needs to start their day. And then
Yeah.
go hydrate, eat your
Yes.
protein, and feel
Yes.
amazing. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. And who doesn't love something free? It's 7 days free, Eversio community. Why not
Yeah.
give it a
Full
try?
access,
You won't.
live classes, library, whatever. It's like full access. So you get a full week.
Yeah, super, super cool. I hope everybody goes and says hello to Tay and they're after listening to this. And with that, we will say goodbye and that we will see you soon. I know we'll catch you out there on the Instagram waves, seeing
Yeah.
whatever you get up to over spring break with those gorgeous kiddos. And thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate you always.
So great to see you guys.